All right, everyone, welcome to the weekend edition of Simply Bitcoin. We break down the news from Twitter, the daily fail, the meme review, software releases, and the websites by plebes. Drop us a like and subscribe. All right, we're going to the numbers. Let's do it. All right, we are currently at a block height of 672,496. The current Bitcoin price, 45,815. Chain rewrite days, 604. Total lightning capacity 1096.19. Bitcoin versus gold market cap 7.54%. And the sats per dollar 2,183.
Overall, the numbers look spectacular. If you zoom out, if you zoom out, these numbers are amazing. I can't believe we're consolidating at these levels. It literally feels like a dream. But definitely definitely if you're in the flux of it in the short term, yeah, we did take a bit of a tumble, Phil, but I feel like that's perfectly healthy. I don't like to talk about price a little bit, but just some observations.
Yep. It's not bad. We're still holding steady up high. And the reality is, if we compare this back to 2017, it's definitely a different type of vibe. It's a different type of volume and price fluctuation. And obviously the actual price is different, but I'm talking about the amount of time that we're staying at the levels we're staying at versus the levels that we were at in 2017 and how long we stayed at those levels. So it's very interesting. Yeah.
Yeah, it's definitely. It's definitely very interesting to say the least, and it's just the beginning, right? That's why it's so crazy compared to 2017. 2017,
Exactly.
when you got to those tops that were crazy at like almost $20,000, it only lasted a couple weeks. Like now, like Bitcoin is it's sitting at these levels, it's just sitting back, relaxing so easily for sure. Phil, that being said, it's time for
the daily fail. All right, guys. Our daily fail is brought to us by none other than, it's CoinDesk that published this, but it's Raul with another one of his genius takes. What if the IMF creates a rival scarcity coin to BTC? Okay, so look, I just, these people can barely get out of their own way. I highly doubt that they are going to be capable to create any true type of scarcity, number one. Number two, it will not have the same grassroots beginning. I was talking to an OG Bitcoiner today, guy that got in like 2011, and these people, they had absolutely no expectation of value. They're just using it to transact outside of the system, right? Like, I think that people, the IMF, groups like the IMF, like they don't understand why Bitcoin's important. They don't get it. Like they just see it as a rival to their shitcoin, but they don't really understand the mentality at the the grassroots level of why Bitcoin truly began. So I don't think they can create artificial scarcity. Sorry.
I absolutely agree with you, Phil. And it's actually really funny you say that because I was out last night at a dinner, and I was talking to an old buddy of mine who works in traditional finance. And that was one of the main aspects that he didn't grasp. He thought that, if Bitcoin got too big, the government would have the ability to essentially squash it, or best case scenario, the Fed or some other type of central bank would create something similar to Bitcoin, that people would just be attracted to that. But what they fail to understand is it's exactly what you said, Phil. It's the grassroots movement and essentially the sovereignty of Bitcoin, right? It's not that Bitcoin is it's not that it's the fastest, most what is special about Bitcoin is the sovereignty. It's the fact that you can take possession over it. And I don't think that central bankers are ever going to swallow that pill, right? I don't think they understand that concept of people being able to possess their own wealth, essentially. So until they'll always want control, right? So that's essentially why they will never be able to control. They will never be able to create something even close to Bitcoin, and they can't even get past that. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, Phil, it's a great fail. Great, Phil. Man, just life in 2021, man. It just makes it easy for us.
Crazy,
It's simply Bitcoin, right? It's just everything's upside down. You know, it's absolutely nuts. That being said, it's a perfect time for
the daily meme review.
All right, everybody. The meme for today is brought to us by 0 Let's check it out. Give me Bitcoin or give me death. I already like it. Just by not even the meme yet, just looking at the text. Babe, will you please sell so we're millionaires? No, we must make them pay. Man, absolutely epic meme. Forget about the millionaires, guys. That's irrelevant, right? Forget about billionaire, millionaire, whatever the number. Just put that aside. But I know that every single Bitcoiner understands exactly what that means. No, we just make them pay. And of course, it's the Chad meme with the laser eyes. Dude, super freaking epic. That meme definitely made me feel like soy sauce. What about you, Phil?
You know what? Totally made me laugh. Even just like you said, the comment leading into the meme was like, I'm ready for this. But I totally relate to that feeling. You know, like I just don't care. You know, it's like you see it go up and you just zero fucks given. So that being said, I think it gets a healthy 2 tomatoes.
Yeah, 2 tomatoes. That's a good score.
For sure.
That's an excellent score. And yeah, dude, I totally understand what you're getting at. Man, it's just good just to sit back, you know, with this orange force field protecting you, and just like, you know, it's like, no, it's more about the number go up. It's more than that now, Phil. It's more than that. So yeah, man, absolutely great freaking meme. Just wanted to show you guys. But anyways, Phil, it's time for
the Daily News, sponsored by Crypto Cloaks.
All right, guys. So the news for today, it's a weekend edition, but there's plenty of news. It's pretty spicy. So check this out. Awesome account on Twitter. I highly recommend following him at documenting BTC, documenting Bitcoin. Quote his tweet: for the first time, there's now more anonymous Bitcoin nodes in the world than public ones in the United States.
Wow.
Absolutely phenomenal, guys. This has not been like this, I mean, until today, essentially. So it looks like more people are connecting through Tor, which is just better overall for the Bitcoin network. It makes it in the worst case scenarios that governments just want to start going after anybody who's hosting a Bitcoin node. This type of stats should be mouthwatering. And awesome post by Caitlin Long. This was the official IPO registration of Coinbase. Kind of a big deal. We don't agree with their shitcoinery, their shitcoin casino-ish, but it's pretty epic because they did put Satoshi Nakamoto as, you know, I guess one of the people that had to do with the IPO. So it's super awesome. And this was one of Satoshi's original addresses. So it's just, look, not a big fan of Coinbase. It's cool, you know, I guess, but it's just awesome that Satoshi Nakamoto just made it into, IPO record. Super interesting. Anyways, the big segment for today that I wanted to cover, Phil, this was absolutely insane. I know I keep saying that, but there's just so many insane things happening that I need to just get a thesaurus or something. But anyways, M1 money stock. Dude, just look at these stats. We've been covering this for a month, Phil. Okay, and it literally went up. and remember, guys, everything is normal. Everything is so normal that they feel like this series, this metric no longer serves the public anymore, and they're discontinuing it. Yeah. How it's, I know I keep saying this word, but how crazy is that, right? So the moment this starts to happen, they're like, all right, guys, this metric no longer serves the public. You know, even though we've been keeping this metric since 1975, you know, it's just look away, guys. Not a big problem. Obviously, what is the big deal? Well, when they start printing money and adding this much money to the money supply, what tends to happen is inflation, right? So there's been, if you use the Fed's metrics of what inflation is, which is very obfuscated, it's not very easy to understand, then apparently there's no inflation going on. But if you look at the stock market, right? If you look at Bitcoin, if you look at this, this is an own government website. There's plenty of inflation going on. We're not the only ones to seem to think so. Michael Burry, one of the guys that got very wealthy off the 2008 financial crisis, he was one of the only ones that were saying that, mortgage-backed securities, not a good bet. It's just going to go to zero, blah, blah, blah. So Michael Burry made a ton of money back in 2008, 2009. Now he's claiming that Weimar Republic hyperinflation is coming. Of course, when he says Weimar Republic, he's referencing the hyperinflation that the government before the government that I'm not going to say because YouTube doesn't like that stuff. But anyways, the government of Germany in the 1920s, essentially, man, look at their currency. Okay, so this is the equivalent of one. It literally became worthless overnight. There's really famous pictures of children burning it for heat. And when Michael Burry, the same guy that predicted the 2008 financial crisis, is saying that's exactly where the US dollar is heading, and the metrics which it shows the supply of money is being discontinued because the supply of money is literally a straight line. Is it that conspiratorial to say, Phil, it looks like there's inflation coming? Is that too crazy to say that? Because all the markings are there, but as Bitcoiners, they just call you crazy, right? But man, it looked to me, Phil, and look, again, I've never lived through this, but just the signs speak for themselves. Of course, it hasn't happened yet, so we don't know, but it could be impending. And you know what, Phil? The only way to protect yourself from this, or one of the best, not the only way, but one of the best to protect yourself from this unlimited money printing that the government is experimenting with, is Bitcoin, right? Like it's like you're totally protected from this bullshit, right? So anyways, I know I've been talking for a lot. It's a weekend edition, so I wanted to show you guys an awesome story. Phil, what are your thoughts on, is hyperinflation coming? Is inflation coming? What the hell?
Well, I mean, I think we're living through the beginnings, at least. I mean, look, we've already had inflation. We've got evidence of inflation. We can see that all, small examples, the smaller chocolate bars that cost twice as much, stuff like that, so we have the home markets, and we've got the inflated price of, goods and services. So we definitely already see that happening. Hyperinflation, I think, is a really big possibility. It's interesting that they discontinued that series of showing that chart and are moving us to a completely different chart. I'm very curious to know if that new chart that they're pointing us to is using the same metrics of calculation, because this metric of calculation is showing how incompetent they are. So naturally, this chart is not good. We need a chart that's good.
It's crazy.
They need a chart that makes them look good.
It's insane. One. It's like, what is the world like, guys? Everything is fine. Nothing to see here. Nothing to see here. Nothing to see here. Nothing to see here. Man. Oh my God. I'm so happy Bitcoin exists. If Bitcoin did, I would be forced to care about politics. And that $2,000 check that Biden is just, like stringing everyone along with, bro. Like, God damn, this is insane.
Or you'd be forced to learn about stocks. And if you don't want to take the time to learn about stocks, right, then you can hand your money over to a professional.
Well, you can't care too much. You can't care too much because remember what happened with the Wall Street bets, dudes. You can't go too away from their system. You could play by their rules.
Oh, yes, of course. And lose by their rules. And make as long as they allow you to make what you make.
Man,
here are the crumbs, my friend. Here are the crumbs. Enjoy.
Exactly. Be happy. You will own nothing and be happy, right? That's their world. This is exactly what's coming out of their mouth. This is how crazy the world has gone. I'm so happy Bitcoin exists. I know Phil is happy Bitcoin exists. But, we don't want to say inflation is coming. We don't want to be, because no one knows the future, right? But the signs are there. Okay, the facts are there. Some very big people also support this theory that inflation will come. I know I love Max Kaiser's show, and I watch his show all the time. I know that he thinks so as well. right? So let's see what happens. But either ways, if you have Bitcoin, whether it happens or not, you will be fine, right? That's the benefits of number go up technology and the orange pill, baby. But anyways, Phil, there was a software release today. Why don't you tell everybody about it?
Software releases. All right, it looks like we've got, yep, MyNode version 0.2.27 that was released, and the details to that are down below in the show notes.
Awesome. Thank you, Phil. All right, guys, that was the weekend edition of Simply Bitcoin. You know what to do. If you like the show, smash that like button. If you love the show, subscribe, and we will see you Tuesday for another episode of Simply Bitcoin.